Have you ever stopped and thought how every small action you take shapes your life and lives of everyone around you? In this episode, we're going to talk about the butterfly effect, what we do for Hello Neighbor 3 to achieve it, and how small decisions can change our life in Here's a short story for you. Year 1961. MIT meteorologist Edward Lorenz trying to improve weather forecast using those fridge-sized computers that has no screen or memory, just printing results on a strip of paper. At some point, he wanted to look at the same simulation, but with more parameters visible. But as I said, this computer didn't store any data or have a screen. So to see the same simulation, but with more parameters visible, he has to rerun the whole thing. He took values from already printed strip, began simulation, and went for coffee. When he returned, the result was absolutely weak. Simulation started as expected, but further it went, weirder it became. So by the end of the paper strip, the results were wildly different. But why? It was the same simulation he already ran. What he didn't realize, that computer prints fewer digits than uses in calculations. So the number he took from the paper was 0.506, but in reality was 0.5061. Almost insignificant rounding completely threw off his calculations by the time it ended. This concept, that tiny difference in the initial condition can lead to a vastly different outcome, Lawrence called seagull causing a storm. Fast forward a few years. He was about to give a presentation about this, yet he didn't have a proper title for it. So his friend advised him to change seagull for something more poetic, like a butterfly, and came up with a catchy title. Thus, the flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil set off a tornado in Texas. Over time, name butterfly effect stuck and even went beyond meteorology. So without Lawrence trying to improve weather forecasting, without an old computer's limitations and a meteorologist friend, there wouldn't be a butterfly effect. And we wouldn't be talking about Hello 3 right now. So let's see what role it plays in the game and how we're trying to make it work. First, let me remind you of Hello Neighbor 3 concept. A Groundhog Day in a town where every object is interactable, every building is enterable, and every character has goals and act on them based on circumstances, which in turn create new ones. So any changes in surroundings cause a butterfly effect and lead to unpredictable results, which you can use to your advantage in unraveling town's mysteries. At least that's the idea. In Prototype 3, we try to figure out how to achieve the butterfly effect, and in the process discover technology that we need for it. Tools, essentially. Characters play a crucial role in butterfly effect, since they're the ones who take action. In the previous episode, we talked about core technology behind decision-making and action planning of our characters. Now let's go deeper and cover some essential aspects: knowledge and perception, searching and confrontation. We focus on genuine systemic behavior. It's important to us that characters learn about changes in the world, just as player would. No cheats or tricks. Initially, NPC has some knowledge that we set by hand, like which house is theirs, what objects they own, and where certain things are located. Let's look at a few examples on how it works. Jakob wants to watch a TV, but it's broken. He has a repair tool at his workshop though. He knows about it, and he will do a short trip to pick it up and repair a TV. Everything pretty straightforward here. Now let's rewind and change things up a bit. Everything is the same, but screwdriver not where he left it. He'll still go there, expecting to find it. Let's take it one step further. I told you that a character knows where certain objects are located, but what if they are not there? As it is right now. First, he does a quick checkup to see if thing is still around. Next step is an interesting one. Characters have knowledge about places where items can potentially be found. There is no guarantee, of course, that it will be there, but you'll never know until you try, right? Jakob doesn't know where his screwdriver is, but he has an idea of where he could possibly find another one. In this example, it's an abandoned hardware store. Now you can see him venturing on a trip to that location. This is a nice moment to showcase our object search system. How characters behave when looking for something. When they arrive at the location they've never been to, character does a quick look around to get a sense of the area. Each passage, hall or window tells them that there is a room behind it. They use easiest passage to get in. Our characters can now properly understand border doors, can open latches, and pick a path according to available options. In this case, breaking this door is the easiest path. They memorize every object they stumble upon in case they'll need it later. Character will stop when either object is found or all detected rooms are explored. Of course, other things can happen and interrupt searching. Let's spice things up a bit for Jakob and talk about confrontation. As we discussed in our previous devlog, our characters have personality traits and relations between each other, which defines their behavior. This vandal attacks anyone who's not friendly, even on neutral territory. So Jakob is in trouble. Here's how it works. Characters do a quick assessment of their opponent to decide if they are able to grab them immediately or need to stun first. In this case, Count stronger than Jakob, so he immediately goes for a grab. Of course, this confrontation will end up differently, depending on who's fighting who, surrounding objects, amount of characters, and more. Well, anyway, in this case, Jakob lost, and the vandal drags him into makeshift prison. Let's talk about additional ways of getting information and searching for people. Our characters have ability to update their knowledge by seeing something with their eyes, like reading a note, for example. Here we see missing poster appear for Jakob. Now Iris wants to find her friend. In case of humans, it is also tied to the time of day. At this time, Jakob's supposed to be in the workshop. When she checks the place and can't find him, she tries second best option. In this case, it's his home. First, she looks around, similar to what Jakob did looking for his screwdriver. Look who we got here, a vandal, eating Jakob's food. Iris going in and kicks his butt. As you might have noticed, Vandal dropped not only a cake, but a note as well. Iris returns to the house and notices the note. It contains the exact location of Jakob. As you can see, he is unconscious. To return him to normal, she can put him on the bed. What you've seen now is an example of capabilities of our system. It's built in such a way so everything is connected with everything. We saw Iris figured Jakob's location by reading a note, but she can see a working light bulb and know there's a generator somewhere, for example. In a future episode, we may dive deeper into technicalities of our system and explain how it works in details. Did you catch it, by the way? Now characters physically throw opponents out, including the player. As you might remember from the first episode, our goal is to make a sandbox where every decision is the right. So now, being caught is not a failure, it's just a part of the journey. We designed Hole Number 3 in such a way so there's no conventional game over. Each event just leads to an outcome, which leads to something else, up until storm arrives. We want players to focus on the journey, set their own goals, and feel free in exploring the uncanny world of Ravenbooks. Speaking of Ravenbooks, we figured out how to achieve the uncanny atmosphere we were chasing. Take a look at our new map. We made it from scratch, again, and this time it stays for good, as we'll be building upon it with each new iteration to come. A forever map, as I love to call it. At this stage, we have general size and layout of the town. Of course, nothing is set in stone. Some buildings might be changed, removed, or added. Even though Ravenbrooks looks like a ghost town, it's not. There are still people living in it. And with Prototype 3, we increased the population from 3 to 9. You may already know Iris, a person everyone can always rely on. Jakob, a handyman with a dream. Signed, a mischievous vandal who's good at hiding his feelings. And now there's Isaac, a boy who lives in the moment. This is Janusz, a supermarket cashier with a past. An oldest living person of Ravenbrooks. Locals call her the Historian. And the rest of the Vandals gang. Kond, a leader of the group. And Covered. Don't really like being stared at. This makes 8 characters, which means you get to figure out the 9th character by yourself. If a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? There's no clear answer to this philosophical question. However, there's an answer to the other one. Does video game characters interact with the world if player is not around? For Hell Number 3, the answer is yes. As I said before, our approach is to keep game genuine, avoid any hard coding or invisible trickery. Everything is calculated in real time, at all times, no matter how close or far player from the action. It gives real simulated experience to the player, and if something happens, you know it happened for real. Yet there's a downside to it: performance and balance. Look at this real internal conversation after we added all characters to the map for the first time. Let's zoom in a bit. Yes, this is 2 frames per second. While our performance is still pretty rough at times, we're really grateful to our engineers who did an amazing job optimizing all this and bringing it to a playable level. We'll continue to push forward with the amount of characters and optimization. It would be awesome to achieve something like 25 characters, but let's wait and see. Balance is whole nother beast. Behavioral system is a lot like Jenga. Figuring out all the costs and weights for actions turn out to be pretty unpredictable. It is still possible to witness an interesting behavior at times, which we're not sure how or why they're doing. It can be funny or even eerie. What's great though, the system we built allows us to set pretty complex goals and reactions for the characters. Almost anything we want. Prototype 3 is our first try at figuring out this system, its capabilities and how to design our game in general. We added a few mysterious characters with goals and let them free. Prototype 3 is now available for everyone to download and to try out. We'd really appreciate your feedback. Check Steam page or our Discord for more information. Our next step is to apply all this new knowledge to fulfill the concept of the game as we imagined it. Now, as we have tools, we can build a world where things constantly happen before your eyes. Action is condensed, and events in the world affect everyone in a meaningful way. I remember watching Hey Arnold or Life with Louie as a kid, with a pencil in front of a TV trying to learn how to draw all these characters. I wonder how Hello Neighbor would look like if I never saw those cartoons. Or would I be interested in mysterious towns and personal stories? Haven't I watched the Erie, Indiana TV show as a child? Would there be Hello Neighbor at all? I wonder. In the moment, it didn't seem like a significant actions. But in hindsight, it helped to create everything Hello Neighbor is about, and especially Hello Neighbor 3. Our lives are just as unpredictable as the weather, and often it's not the big choices that define your future. It's the small ones you didn't even know you made.